You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. Ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. Going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best, show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumper where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the refs just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever, Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever, Pelican forever.
You saw from him there on that last possession on Anthony Edwards. Just talk me through that from what you saw.
I mean, we trust E as a defender one-on-one. You know, Ant's a prime-time player. And, you know, he could have hit the shot, but he played great defense, and we were able to get the rebound.
What do you say about this team down 18 to be able to come back and fight through this and get this win?
You know, we've had third-quarter woes for as long as I can remember. So to be able to rally like that in the third quarter and come out with the win is big for us.
JB talked about it before the game. 10 of our last 15 have been in clutch games. Few of them on this road trip. How does it feel to get over that hump on this trip?
I mean, we was in the locker room like, it's the last game of the road trip. Let's go home with a dub.
And then Trey, you know, he had a dozen threes the other night. He has 6 and really had those 3 in like a minute span of the third quarter to kind of get you into a position to be able to do that in the fourth quarter.
I mean, Trey is a special player. He continues to get better day by day. And those threes he hit were big time for us. We went from being down like 14-15 to right back in the game.
What is it about these matchups with Rudy Gobert that you seem to enjoy so much when you have these kind of Rudy and these Wemby, like these shot blockers at the rim that you like?
I mean, both of them are great defenders, great shot blockers. They've earned their stripes in the league. But, you know, I always accept the challenge.
Appreciate it, see. Back to you, Joe.
All right.
And obviously he's fantastic, but our guys battled, got stops when we needed to, big stops down the stretch, and then we executed offensively. I mean, I can go through the list of guys that made plays down the stretch. Obviously, you know, Saddiq made huge plays. Rice was massive in that fourth quarter. DQ hit big shots. Murph's gravity. Zion making plays down the stretch, big free throws. So it was a full team win. It wasn't just one guy, but really proud of the group. They've stuck together. We understand we're going to have to win clutch games to win games, you know, and really proud of our group that we continue to put ourselves there, and we're learning how to close, and win or lose, we'll learn from this and get better.
Down 18 early in the third. What was the conversation you had with the team at that point?
One possession at a time. You know, it's a long game, stay poised. The biggest thing for us is not to lose our heads, just to stay poised. Long game, possession by possession. Number one, quality shots. That was huge for us. Challenging Gobert in the first half was not successful, and I think we cleaned that up in the second half. We were getting good shots. Our defense picked up, and then I think what brought us home was our defense tonight. You know, 45-point defensive effort there in the second half. So I think more than anything, just keep our poise and stay together.
Casey mentioned to me at halftime about changing some things up on Edwards. You just mentioned. What were kind of some of the things that went into what you guys did?
Well, Edwards, you know, we had played him well at home, you know, and we were very disruptive with him at home those last 2 games. And, you know, I didn't feel our aggression as much on him. We tried with her being back to play him a little bit more straight up. Second half, we got a little bit more aggressive on him, double teaming him, scrambling. And I think it just overall picked up our aggression, especially there in that third quarter. That got us back into the game. And then obviously we had a big fourth quarter. But a couple good adjustments and, you know, a little bit of zone as well to close the game.
Just what do you think of the job that Eve did on him late, getting on that, taking the switch and being able to contest?
Yeah.
Huge stop.
Huge stop. I mean, big time possession right there. To stay in front of him, not foul, made him make a tough shot, rebounded the ball, and I think they even got an offensive rebound. We were still able to get a second stop there. Obviously, you want to get the first one, but Eve was fantastic to close. DQ got us there. We went a little bit of defensive sub there, and Eve produced, got us a big stop.
I know we've talked much about Bryce and being in the lineup, out the lineup, in the lineup, out the lineup, but the job he's able to do after so many inactive games to be able to give you the minutes he was able to get to.
Well, we've seen the work behind the scenes. Every day he's working. He's playing in the conditioning league, getting his workouts in. He's ready for the moment, and we could have gone to him early in the last couple of weeks. But I think this is his moment, his time now. Now he'll hopefully get converted. But he was fantastic. His poise, his aggression, his confidence. He made a couple huge shots for us, to give us the lead, to give us a little bit of a cushion. He belongs out there. I thought he did a good job on Ant too, guarding. He's a two-way player. We need to build two-way players. He's one of those guys that can play both sides of the ball.
DQ had just hit 10 shots from deep all year. At 4 for 4 tonight. I mean, they're giving him some open looks. You're telling him to just keep shooting.
He's working on it. He's working on it. Ultimately, we need him to make those shots and take those shots. For us to be successful long term, to space the floor off of Z and trust it. He looked confident when he shot it, and he's been putting the time in. That's the focus he's been putting in. So I think once the first one went through, he got more and more confidence. The last one, he knew it was going in. You could see the confidence. Good. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
All right, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for all things Pelicans. Big Q in the building with this PPR final, man. Pelicans rally from 18 down to upset the Minnesota Timberwolves in their building. The series is 2-1. We got one more game later on in the regular season to take care of business against this team. And listen, this was what I'm talking about, man. This is the Pelicans. This is how the Pelicans supposed to play, coming from 18 down to take the possession, to take the lead away from them and the game. The Pelicans advance, and we get what? I mean, it ain't a lot of wins, but still in all, fam. Maybe this can help. I know for certain this could spark a 2-game winning streak at the very least, right? We got Sacramento coming up on Monday, so we'll see how that goes. Big ups to you guys, man. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. We up in this thing. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream, man. So, man, what did we collect from this one, man? It was interesting. Zion, Trey, and Saddiq Bey, should I say the big three? The big three, they carried this team. The Queens had a solid performance as well. Eve Messi with the defense he performed, shot blocking, he was all over the floor. He didn't give us offensive pointage, but what he did do was out there having stellar play. He was literally guarding, moving his feet and standing in front of the Ant-Man who posted 30-plus points in this game, who was just on one. But it didn't stop the Pelicans, man. The Pelicans had more grit. They wanted this game more. And credit to them, man. Credit to the Pelicans taking care of business tonight, 119 to 115 against this club, man. This is what we always call for. We just want our team to play hard, play smart, and collect as many wins as we possibly can, man. So big ups there. Anyway, let's get right into it, man. This is interesting. 5 reasons. I'm looking at why the team upset. I can give 10, but we're going to just stick for the circumference of time. Zion, man, he was up there doing his thing, right? We know Zion was battling. And listen, this was a physical game, fam. They put their hands on Trey Murphy. They tried to rattle him. They were grabbing and holding. There's some funny fouls called in this game, a little referee dude. But at the end of the day, the Pelicans didn't worry about the Wolves. They didn't worry about the refs. They handled business. Zion did what he did going up against the trees tonight. Very efficient in the way how he played. Saddiq Bey. What can I tell you about Saddiq Bey, man? Saddiq Bey led the way, especially in the fourth quarter. But this is just the interesting part about the Pelicans, what they could be if they can just bottle this stuff and play consistently, right? We've seen some of the plays down the stretch. Saddiq was in what was really important, especially hitting those clutch free throws with less than 11 seconds remaining in the game. You see the Pelicans exploiting the foul trouble. Jaden McDaniels, he was in trouble for most of all of the night. He was one of their main defenders who couldn't stay on the floor. And then, of course, Derek Queen, how he did with 17-point performance. He was 4 for 4 from the 3-point line, fam. You know, and then he went to the line, had a high clip at the foul line as well. Battling against Rudy Gobert, hitting 3-pointers, man. I wish we can get somebody else to start kind of really getting familiar with that game. But outside of that, the Wolves they just collapsed. And that's what I'm saying at the back end of the game. The Pelicans were able to maintain the intensity. That's the thing. Keep the intensity levels up, not let it drop. And y'all guys know especially in the Pale Nation, man, we from watching the team, it's always some funny business, not from anybody else, but the Pelicans. It's a lapse in judgment, it's a lapse in play, it's a turnover, it's not hitting the free throws, it's doing something dumb on the defensive end, it's not communicating. It's always something that gets the losses away from us. All of these road games, these previous 3 road games that we had, the Pelicans were in these games and had this type of breakdown that caused us to lose. That did not happen tonight. They had it on their minds that they were going to leave. They weren't going to leave the road without collecting a win. And they got a big win against a very good team in the Timberwolves, man. So perhaps we can kind of add to it and get a streak going of our own. We snap a 3-game losing streak, and that's a big thing. Let's hit these stats, man. Y'all, shout out to y'all. Y'all hit that like button. Big ups to the fam for being this one. Pelicans were 54% tonight, 43 of 80 from the field. They hit 15 3-pointers for 44%, 15 of 34. Wolves was 13 of 40 for 32%, and 40 of 95 from the field for 42%. Pelicans went to the foul line and hit 18 of 22 for 82%. That's what it's called for. When you get an opportunity to get as many foul attempts in their building, you got to hit a high clip. The Pelicans hit 82%, 18 of 22. The Wolves 22 of 26 for 85%. They grabbed 47 to 39 on the rebounds. They had 20 offensive rebounds in this game. They being the Wolves against 6 by the Pelicans. Didn't stop us. Pelicans had almost 30 assists tonight, just circulating the ball. That was a point of emphasis. Move the ball. Move the ball, move the ball, move the ball. We heard the old saying constantly. AD shouts it out a lot. You hear there's energy in the ball. Move the damn ball. They moved the ball. They had 29 assists tonight. You get the steals games went to the T-Wolves 7-5 on both steals and blocks. Pelicans turnovers went up this time. They had 16, gave up 17 points versus 10 by the Wolves, giving up 18 points on their turnover. So they did win the fast break game 17-9, and the points in the paint 54 to 50. The Pelicans and then came from 18 back to secure the lead and take the game. Man, it's real good. It feels good, man, to get a win. It really does, man. It feels good. And on the individual side of things, man, you could, like I talked about, Zion Williamson and Saddiq Bey, he led the way. Saddiq had 30 points in 34 minutes. He was 10 of 21 from the field, hit 3 3-pointers. He was perfect from the foul line, 7 of 7. He finished with 30 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal, +4 for Saddiq Bey. He continues to turn it up for the Pelicans, man. And when there's points lacking, he goes up and beyond his scoring average on the season, and just knew that the Pelicans need that extra offensively, and Saddiq Bey delivered, man. Physically delivered. Offense, defense, whatever you need, he delivered, man. It's a big game for Saddiq. And then, of course, you looked at what Zion Williamson did. In 29 points in 32 minutes, he was 11 of 13, very efficient. He went for the foul line, hit 7 of 9 in the game. 4 rebounds for him and an assist for Zion. He was +7. Trey Murphy in 37 minutes led the way for the Pelicans minute-wise. He finished with 26 points, 9 of 15 from the field. 6 3-pointers, that's right, count them, 6 3-pointers from Trigger Trey Murphy. He also threw in 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and +9 for him. So those 3 players were astronomically large for the Pelicans in this upsetting win over the T-Wolves. And Derek Queen, let's not forget the Blizzard, DQ, 33 minutes, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists in the matchup. He was 4 for 4 from downtown, 6 of 11 from the field. Big numbers, 4 3-pointers for DQ, man. He was cold from beyond. That helped the Pelicans big time. And, of course, we had Herb, who was dealing with foul trouble In the game, Herb finished with 23 points. 23 minutes, 2 points. He had 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He did have 4 turnovers, but also chunked in 3 assists. Off the bench, not too much. Bryce McGowens, who was a major, big benefactor of the Jose Alvarado trade, uh, kind of trading Jose out and giving him up to the Knicks for 2 second-round picks and a player they literally released hours ago to open up minutes for Bryce McGowens. So McGowens got an opportunity to play 28 minutes tonight. He threw in 11 points. He was 4 of 6 from the field. He hit a couple of 3-pointers, had 4 assists and +2 for Bryce McGowens getting those minutes. Boy, you can. A big supporter of McGowens is James Borrego. He loves Bryce McGowens. So that trade really helps him kind of gather a reserve spot, so to speak. Then Jeremiah Fierce tonight, 28 minutes. He had 2 points, struggled shooting the ball, 1 of 7. He was 0 for 3 from downtown, 1 rebound, 4 assists, and 4 turnovers, but he was +5 in the game. And of course, Yves Missi, man, what can I tell you about him? In 15 minutes, Yves, 2 points, but man, 4 rebounds and assists, a steal, a block, +9. He was in there guarding Ant-Man. He was in there defending Rudy Gobert. He was making blocks, blocking at the rim, blocking shots at the rim, running out, guarding at the perimeter. Just all this stuff Yves was doing, moving his feet incredibly well. And he had 2 really solid defenses later on in the game. One in particular, when they gave Ant-Man the ball, and Ant-Man tried to shoot the ball over him, and Yves made it very difficult for him to get that shot off. So, like I said, this type of effort is what we need on a night-to-night basis from the Pelicans. Maybe later on they can start ironing out the wrinkles here in terms of having those reserves play a certain amount of minutes. You can see Borrego couldn't wait to get McGowens out there. He gave him 11 a night. He gave him 28 minutes the first time being there, but he had a kind of half-ass bench. He really, even though he played 5 guys off the bench, really meaningful minutes went to Yves, McGowens, and Fierce. The McCarlo Mekovic got in there and had a couple of rebounds and an assist, but he only played 7 minutes, and Micah played 3 minutes in the game. So, and of course, once the trade was over with, I was interested to see, now that that's out of the way, we're beyond the trade deadline. How do you then move guys like Jordan Poole into the lineup going forward? Because now the emphasis will have to be on the Pelicans finishing strong for the remaining, how many games we got left. They got to finish strong and at least try to see if they can close the gap and get somewhere close where they can be in the play-in. Now that that's the case. But guess what? Jordan Poole didn't see any action today. Neither did Hawk. So I was like, okay, maybe we'll see that. Nah, ain't a damn thing going on with that. So it wasn't no injury. He was simply DNP coach's decision. That's very interesting, man, just to say the least, man. And very interesting. If man gonna be on the damn team, at least play him, right? I would like to at least have some offense from him later on or something, man. Just we'll see what's going on with that. But that's real strange. But nonetheless, man, we got it. Pelicans rallied from 18 down to upset the Wolves. Next on the docket that we have coming up is the Sacramento Kings. That's right, the Sacramento Kings, a team, fam. Listen, this team bad. This team suck. I mean, Sabonis is out. I think he's due to return. He should be coming back soon. I know Keegan Murray is out with an ankle issue that'll have him out to February the 19th. When we get ready to see this team, they're saying Sabonis could be back as early as tomorrow. So that'll be big for them to get Sabonis back, and perhaps he will be ready in time for the Pelicans game on Monday. We'll see. We'll see exactly what that is. And, of course, like I said, DeJounte Murray, we won't see what's going on with him until February 20th. You start hearing little leaks of information about him and all this kind of stuff, but I don't know with the Pelicans, how the Pelicans going to handle it. Will they handle it like Jordan Poole, just sit him down and not use him until the offseason? I mean, we got a lot of season left. We got to be able to use the weapons that we have. We're going to need all hands on deck to crawl back into this thing. But anyway, as far as the Sacramento Kings are concerned, this team is bad, fam. This team worse than the Pelicans. They're 12-40. They are losers of 10 in a row. They've lost 10 games in a row. This team lost 10 games in a row. I got to keep saying that because That's what it is. They're not very good. You can see their numbers right here ranked on screen. You can see 29, 27 in terms of points and opposition points per game. Uh, Almost they're in the back of the league. The field goal percentage is 18th. Pelicans is 25th in the league. You can see the three pointers made is worse than the Pelicans. Pelicans are make 11. This team less than that, less than 10 and a half at 30th. The attempts are 30th. The percentage is 19th. The Pelicans is 27th. You can look at the free throw averages as well. The attempts at 18th, Pelicans 10th, and the free throw percentage is 20th at 77. Pelicans at 78.5, almost 79%. They are improving over time. You can see the Pelicans way better rebounding team than the Kings. The Pelicans are not as good as an assisting team over the season. You can see the turnovers right there. The Kings do turn the ball over a lot. They don't steal it as much, and they really don't block it as much. But like I said, this team was dealing with a lot of injuries. It feels like a rebuilding. I ain't gonna say a rebuilding situation with the Kings, but I thought they felt like they were supposed to be better than what they usually are. And regardless or not, I'm not going to say this is an easy out for the Pelicans. They're a terrible team, but but they still have a lot of good players on this team. Zach LaVine is there. DeAndre Hunter just came over. They got DeMar DeRozan. Sabonis is due to come back. They're saying possibly for the Pelicans game. They always seem to come back against for us. So he's out of against the Sacramento Kings game, and right now the Kings are they playing the Clippers right now, and they losing by one. So it'll be interesting to see how this matchup flips, and if Sabonis is back. They got Russell Westbrook. Might as well be fucking Russell Wilson, to be honest with you. Russell Westbrook is is the point guard. He's the top point guard on the team. He's doing his average though, about 15 and 7 in terms of his assists with 6 rebounds per contest. That's respectable for Russell Westbrook. But yeah, this is a strange team, man, to say nonetheless about what we'll have to face off against the Sacramento Kings, man. But man, yeah, he go the lineup right here, and y'all tell me what. But yeah, this will be interesting, man. We always seem to have issues with this team, man. They only I think they beat us. Let's see, I think they did there. Yeah, no, we currently on the 1-game winning streak on this team. Prior to that, we lost like 3 games in a row to Sacramento before we got them on that last one. So, what is this looking like, fam? What y'all think this is going to be? A W. I'm gonna hold up on it. I said last game against the T-Wolves, I thought the Pelicans was going to lose the game because of how they playing, but that you never can tell how this team plays and how they go. You never can tell, man, how this team behaves, man, from game to game. But we're gonna have to bring it, man. You got Zach LaVine, 19 and a half. It's what he's doing for the team. DeAndre Hunter was the guy that they traded. He's at 14. He just got there after they're moving out a few people. DeMar DeRozan is still there with 19 a game. You know, and these are the guys there. And Sabonis is supposed to be back in time for this team, so he makes them look a lot different too. But regardless or not, man, we should be able to take care of business against this Sacramento team, man, to be honest with you. And, you know, they always got guys coming off the bench that hurt us. Malik Monk is a guy that kind of give us problems as well with his shooting ability. So we'll see how it all works, man. But the bottom line is this team is on a 10-game losing streak. They come into the Smoothie King Center. The Pelicans are posting up for an opportunity to kind of not only just get into a winning streak, win 2 straight, but ultimately we're going to be at home for 5 games. So that'll be a really good time for the Pelicans to start putting together wins and making shit happen right away, man. That's the bottom line in my book. Now, the 5 keys of victory for the Pelicans over the Kings on Monday, right? We got to control the inside. The Kings could be, now if they're without Sabonis, they're saying Sabonis supposed to be returned, but if he isn't there, you know, he dealing with that lower back issue. We got to punish him there, man. We got to punish him there. Zion Williamson got to dominate the glass and the paint like we seen something similar to what we seen tonight against Minnesota. We got to have that same ferocity, that same mentality up against this Kings club, because even if Sabonis comes back, from injury, he's rusty. We still got to take it to him, right? And then of course we got to deal with the perimeter defense. The Pelicans got to have really solid perimeter defense against guys like Zach LaVine, who just makes he punishes the Pelicans, right? He's an aggressive guy. He dropped 35 on Washington. Herb is gonna have his hands full trying to limit what Zach LaVine to do, but that's going to be Herb's assignment. Herb's got to slow down Zach LaVine, man. A lot of the scoring goes through Zach LaVine, and they're going to have to slow him down. The bench scoring has to be consistent. We know we've seen what our top guys did, but guys coming off the bench, whether, Jeremiah Fears, PV, McGowan's, whomever. We got to have more consistent scoring off the bench. We've seen guys come in off the bench and play defense. We're going to need a little bit more scoring to kind of take the load off our 5 starters, the 5 guys, right? So they don't have to have these Herculean efforts every night to try to will the team to win. We need more of a balanced approach that don't wear our 5 starters down. If we could kind of shed a load that responsibility, then I think that'll be more sustainable than us having certain players play almost double beyond the averages every night, right? We know what Trey could do. We know what Zion can do when he put his mind to it. But, Saddiq Bey has been really balling, man, and taking it up. But we need more of a balanced effort from guys off the bench scoring, not just defense, but offense too. Also, we got to limit the turnovers. We had 16 turnovers tonight, fam. The several previous games, we kind of kept the turnovers down and losing efforts, right? But we had 16 tonight. We got to kind of bring that back down, limit those turnovers, and turn the Kings over, which they are. They are a very turnover prone team. We can take advantage of that, right? And of course, we got to capitalize on the momentum, right? We got to capitalize on the momentum. Building with a big win over the Minnesota, we can't look past this one and say, hey, man, whatever, we just did it. Nah, this was a solid win. This was a solid win. Them people had all their people healthy. They had one of the top players in the league. He scored 35 points. One of the top defensive players, and Rudy Gobert, a shot blocking guy running around there, knocking people down, doing dumb stuff. But at the end of the day, they had all their people, Julius Randle, all them people. And the Pelicans went into Minnesota and knocked them off. We can build on this energy. They can be, at least for the night, very proud of what the performance that they did. Now, Borrego, you can tell them that you're proud of them. It's weird because we hear Borrego say these things about the Pelicans in losses when they lost a couple of games ago and dropped the 22-point lead and scored 31 in the complete second half, and then said the same stuff he said tonight. Now, it's a difference here. Now, they can really be proud because they actually did what they were supposed to do. They did not allow the game to sneak away from them. They did not lower their heads down. They didn't get dumb in the clutch moments. They held on. They stayed committed, and they did what they needed to do to win. And that's what we are proud of. That's what you do. You don't just shoot yourself in the foot and walk off and say, well, I'm proud of them that they shot themselves in the foot, but at least they didn't shoot the toes off. It's just, no, we could be proud of what we did because we actually learned and won at the same time. That's something that we consistently need to do moving forward if they're going to climb back into whatever race that we see. I think it's 10 or 11 games we're at the back of the 10th spot for the play-in. That's all they can look forward to be honest with you, man. We did get the 2 picks, however, from the Jose Alvarado situation. And like we talked about on the PPR, man, as we kind of switch gears from the preview and talk about the trade, man. Y'all hit that like button. We up in this thing. Kind of switch gears from the trade that happened the other day where the Pelicans sent Jose Alvarado to the New York Knicks for 2 second-round picks, a 2026 and a 2027 second-round pick, and a guard by the name of Dallin Terry. Right, I said during the broadcast, I think he'll probably be buried on the bench, and that's not true. He's actually not on the team anymore because the Pelicans waived Dallin Terry a day after trading him, and here's why. Shout out to NOLA.com. Pelicans waive guard Dallin Terry, the team announced Friday afternoon, right? Pelicans acquired Terry from the Knicks on Thursday in the Jose Alvarado trade yesterday. It's the second move in 2 days for Terry. He was traded to the Bulls, then to the Knicks on Wednesday. And with the move, the Pelicans will now likely sign Bryce McGowens to a standard contract with that open roster spot. So McGowens has been playing on a two-way contract. Players on a two-way contract can play in only 50 games. McGowan has played in 29 games for the Pels this season. The Pelicans will have 28 games remaining after Friday's game against the Timberwolves. McGowan has shown plenty of promise this season. He's averaging 7.6 points, 2 rebounds, and 1.3 on assists. Pelicans interim head coach Borrego has been pleased with McGowan's play. Bryce has been steady all year. He's earned these minutes. Has not been given this time. He's earned it. Every time he's on the floor, good things happen. And of course, Terry spent all 3.5 seasons with his career with the Bulls. He was selected at the 18th overall pick in 2022's draft. He was 6'7", and he played in just 7 of the 204 games for the Bulls, averaged 3.5 points. In addition to Terry, the Pelicans also received 2 second-round picks and exchange and cash as well for Jose Alvarado. So it's the player and Dallin Terry just to mesh the contracts. It was just a contract situation to make the contracts match. They also had the cash that they paid the Pelicans to get them, and as well as the draft picks, which is really what they wanted to have picks going into this draft. Now, of course, as we'll get into the offseason and we'll see how things change. But, man, it's kind of funny seeing Jose Alvarado gone, man. We have to get used to that. But salute to Jose Alvarado, man. He was very emotional in his social media postings about the city of New Orleans. But we wish you all the best, my man, headed forward. We knew, this was going to happen. Jose wasn't in the plans for Joe Dumars going into the future. He had a player option, which a lot of people believe he was going to opt in, but they wanted to open up some more more opportunities for other people off the bench. And then, of course, you see Jose get shifted out. They released the guy they traded for him, and Bryce McGowens collects 28 minutes tonight, and he threw in 11 points. So it works, man. It worked, because at some point, if we're gonna make a run, we gotta do better with the reserves off the bench. They gotta help out offensively. They gotta do more. We can't put all of that on Zion, on Trey, on Saddiq, on Herb, or Derek Queen. Bench guys have to be able to not only play defense, but they got to score. Any other thing is not going to work. So we need some more help there. And don't ask me why Poole is not playing, or I don't know why these guys are not playing Poole. We passed the damn trade deadline. You got 30-something games before you even get to whatever the plan is. You're going to need all hands on deck. You're going to need Poole. You're going to need Murray. You're going to need all these damn guys moving forward. So we'll see how they handle it, man. We'll see how they handle it at the end of the day. All right. Anyway, man, listen, man. This is like I said, congratulations to the fam tonight, man. I'm congratulating y'all, man, because we've seen some shitty basketball over the last several weeks, to be honest with you. And it's finally good to see the Pelicans stand 10 toes down, come from 18 back in a tough building against a team that got all their firepower, and knock them off for the win and upset them. Very happy about that. Shout out to Pelicans Nola. Shout out to DJ Primetime. What's up, my brother? How you doing? Jaden's in the building as well. Big ups to you, Daniel, as well. Shout out to Miggy, Slim, as well. The Los Face Killer. Shout out to you, fam. J Carv is in the building as well, man. I always got to give y'all shout outs because y'all see this every night. This funk and stinks all night, but we do it. Los Face Killer says, props to you. Them other fake shows only come on come on after Lost Negative Girly Nellies. Only one when he says win gotta start somewhere. You don't just hate. No, okay, I got you. Thank you, bro. Shout out. Yeah, we win, lose, or draw, dog. We here. The faithful know, man. Win, lose, or draw. It could be the ugliest losses. It could be slim losses. It could be big wins, little wins. Whatever the case, PPR is in the building, man. We consistent. We stand 10 toes down. And we tell it like it is, too, man. I don't care if they all be listening, man. We've been doing this for like 10 years, man. Actually, more than that, man, if you go back to the podcast days. We've been doing this shit for well over a decade, man. All right, big ups to you. All right, Maniac 504, shout out to you. He says, so with Poole not getting traded, what do you think we're going to do with him sitting on the bench? Bro, I didn't even see your comment, bro. We thinking alike. I feel like we should try to get him back. Hey, bro, listen, I did not see your comment, but it's just good basketball intelligence to ask that question. Why? Because he making $30 million. The big question, shout out to brother Guillory who be chiming in. The big question is, we know that we know that I forgot the damn man name already. We know that McGowan's, that's his name. Bryce McGowan's is a Borrego's favorite, right? We know Borrego likes him. That's why he looks to trade him. So the question is, so you cleared Jose Alvarado out for the picks, right? We know it was for the picks. We know they wanted some picks, and we know he wasn't in the plan. But for the short term, the main benefactor, Jeremiah Fears, did get 28 minutes tonight. He got 20. He just didn't play well. He was 1 for 7 from the field and 0 for 3 from downtown. He had 2 points, 4 assists, 1 rebound. He had 4 turnovers. He just was garbage tonight. The young fella played really horrible tonight, right? So, but the attempt is to open up minutes. Really, you're thinking about Jeremiah Fears, right? When you move Jose out, because the minutes got to go somewhere. So they give 28 minutes to Fears and 28 minutes to McGowan's. And I know Jose averages what? Anywhere between 15, 20 minutes a game, maybe a little bit more or less, depending. He was one of the top people coming off the bench. So those minutes have to go somewhere. But the Bryce McGowan's thing, like the guy they traded for, was supposed to have an opportunity to step in and do things, but they like McGowan's. I don't have a problem with McGowan's, but the issue is I have in terms of the money that you're paying Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is making $30+ million a season, and you got him DNP. We're a day or so past the trade deadline. We got like what 30 something games until we get to the end of the season. So you can't DMP Jordan Poole for the rest of this goddamn season and think you're gonna make a run to get in position to get into the I ain't gonna even say the playoffs, but the plan. That's all you can shoot for, right? Right now, anyway. And then the thing is this too. You're gonna need Jordan Poole because Jordan Poole is a bucket. And then ultimately, DeJounte Murray's going to come back. You going to DMP him too? Or you going to activate him and play him and keep DMP and Jordan Poole? I have absolutely no idea what they're going to do with that, because when the trade deadline was over with, I was like, okay, you couldn't move him. You couldn't get any takers, not even close. Nobody was wanting Jordan Poole in this contract. Now, he does look more attractive in terms of his contract coming up next year, because it'll be a 1 year on a $30+ million deal. So that'll be more favorable for teams in the off season. Him and DeJounte Murray, I think he has another year left on his contract. I think Murray does too. I have to look at it, but the reality is this though: you got $60 million in NBA guards that you'll soon have. You're gonna have the other one back after February the 20th. You got one on the bench right now. That's $60 million between two players. You're gonna play them over the Bryce McGowan's, the guy that is that makes a 2% or 3% of what they make, if that. So that's the point is, those guys get paid a lot of money because they can play, they can make it happen for you. So I don't know what the thought process is on that, my brother. I thought after the trade deadline, Poole should have gotten back minutes. We couldn't move you now. We're gonna put you back in the rotation, and then we'll revisit this when we get into the off season. You see what I'm saying? Because it's just weird to me that the man McGowan's don't make that kind of money, but your boy making $30 million and he not even playing, nothing wrong with him. We need that offense production. We won tonight. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for that. But we still need, there are going to be games when we're going to need that Poole production. We're going to need the 15. If you can give him consistent minutes, like you can give him consistent minutes, and that might clash with Fear's minutes. Maybe that's a part of it, but some kind of way they're gonna have to work this thing out. I mean, you're gonna have to play the man. You can't let him sit on the bench for 30-something odd games. Him and DeJounte Murray. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. So I don't know, bro. We're gonna see how they handle it, man, because it's kind of weird, man. I was thinking about that. That man was DMP tonight. I thought that would have been over with. All right, Multi Tiger, shout out to you. Good to see you, man. Bird Talk, big ups to you as well. Young Illuminati. ZZ, what's up, fam? Appreciate you. All right, what's up, Debo? Shout out to you, says Q. He says Big Q was going in on Papa Joe, looking like Tyler Perry's uncle. I don't trust Troy Weaver and Joe with a cup of water. Okay, all right. Debo, what you talking about, man? No, bro. Listen, man. I get what they're doing, bro. Like it's not really complicated in my eyes, and I was trying to tell people about that, right? Like a lot of the writers, in respect to the writers, I'm not getting on the writers. However you see it is what you see. But as a writer, you're supposed to be trained to be able to see multiple different lenses of view or view things through multiple different lenses, so you can write and give your reader perspective. You're not supposed to try to get them to fall behind the same logic or line of reason. You see what I'm saying? You're supposed to be able to get them to see the whole view, the grand view, not just one perspective of just looking at it and say, well, this is the right view. Now, if you walk around it or you step back or you look over it, you might be able to see the whole picture. And that's why I challenge some of these writers, because I respect a lot of them, but a lot of them be chattering and just writing shit that somebody else said. They be regurgitating stuff. Some writers have a vast imagination. Some of them just regurgitators. They're just writing off a national writer's perspective, and a lot of them will quote the national writers. I noticed that a lot, but I know the difference between the really good ones like Ali Kosel and many other different writers. They you can read it in what they're saying and understand that they built different than these regurgitators. And what I've been hearing, a lot of people getting on Joe Dumars because of saying that he need to make a trade here and made the trade there. And I was like, hold on. If we team building, right? When he stepped into it, you got to look at everything. When he took the job, remember there was the reports coming out saying that there was a caveat or a restriction when he took the job. Y'all remember that? And then when Joe was on, when he got up to the press conference, credit to the reporters, our good reporters asked him about it, and he said there was none. But there was. The caveat was you can do whatever you want, you just keep your hands off of Willie Green. And that was Gail Benson. But then we got into the season. The team lost all those games. We didn't fire Willie Green to the middle of November. By that time, the Pelicans were in double-digit losses. That's where they was. He couldn't. And then she came out because the heat got on her so bad she had to come out with this press conference. Y'all remember we covered all that stuff here, man. Go back and listen to it again. And listen to what I was saying. I was calling her out on the press conference. I always call them out. I always call them out, bro, because a lot of times they be misdirecting, they be lying, they be trying to get the heat off of them. She came out and said she had no power of the team, this type of thing, that Joe Dumars could do whatever he want. And all this, if Joe Dumars could do whatever he want, why didn't he fire Willie Green at the start of the season? We knew the reports was she was holding on to Willie Green. She had his hand on him. The team didn't even was even reacting to what he was saying as a coach. He never regained the team from last year. But she cool with the man wife. She like Willie Green. She must have go to church. Well, I don't know what was going on. But at the end of the day, it wasn't basketball business. If it's personal business, get a dude a job at holding, sweeping up or give him a handing out tickets or let him put the Pelican costume on and run around and flap his goddamn wings. Something like that. But don't let him coach the team. The man the man wasn't good at that. But she held on to him. And held on to him until the heat was so hot she had to get up off him. And then what happened? She came out with that bullshit press conference and said that Joe could do whatever you want. And after she said that, the very next day, Willie Green was fired. Now, what is that for coincidence? She was forced by us, just like she was forced. It's a pattern. I keep telling y'all, pattern recognition, man. I be telling y'all over and over again about pattern. Y'all got to pay attention to pattern recognition. Pattern recognition will teach you a lot in life. Pattern recognition is history. It's basically the study of cycles, human behaviors. That's what history is. Understanding how human behavior, how humans act, and having a memory to understand and predict cycles. Because once if you have a routine as a human, you have a routine. There's certain things that you like to do. If somebody can pick up what you like to do, they can map out your role and how you gonna walk through life, how you gonna make decisions. All of this is what they do. All of this, if you pay attention and it's something that I've been talking a long time. Maybe I get when I start. Maybe I start another channel. I got a bunch of them. Start a channel talking about this in relationships, because that's when people really like to hear me, when I start talking about that relationship stuff, dealing with patterns. But I keep it to with the sports just to show you. I know how the patterns working with Gail Benson. I know how the patterns working with Joe. It's easy. It's easy work to me, and I'm gonna tell you why. We did the same thing with her to get rid of Dennis Allen with the Saints. We did the same thing when we forced her to fire Dennis Allen. And fired him as the coach. I said it then, we're gonna have to do the same thing to get rid of Willie Green. And it was the same thing, because she does that. It's a pattern to this woman. The first year when she hired this other guy, Griffin, to run the team, she forced him to hold on to Elvin Gentry in the first year. She did the same thing to Joe this time around. She forced him to hold on to Willie Green in that first year. And both of the situations worked out the same way. They both were off when they couldn't click with the man, and they ended up getting fired. She didn't allow the new man to come in and bring his own head coach. That's incredibly difficult to do. If you got an owner that you come in and the broad won't let you move this dude out because she likes him for whatever reason, but the guy's not winning anything. So that's what I'm saying. It's a pattern to her. It's a pattern to how she behaved. The pressure got the pressure was actually almost as worse as, not worse than the Dennis Allen thing, but almost as worse, because people stopped showing up. It got real hot for her when she came out with that press conference and said that she had nothing to do with it, and just a bunch of lies. Just a bunch of lies. So anyway, what I'm saying is, it's incredibly hard for you to build a team like that. If you come in as a new general manager, just put yourself in that pattern. Put yourself in the place of Joe Dumars. He comes in, he gets rid of C.J. McCollum and other players. He brings in a guy that averages 17 to 20 points a night in Jordan Poole. You just got to get him steady minutes because he's a rhythm player. Scouting report studies will show you that. He had enough tape, enough scouting reports on him from Golden State all the way up into Washington. This is a rhythm player. You can't give him mixed minutes. You can't play him 15 minutes and then 21 minutes and then 10 minutes and then 12 minutes. That's not how this works. This is a rhythm player. You got to have a line. You have to be consistent with his minutes. That's something that Borrego didn't do. He was never consistent with the man minutes. So he got mixed results. Some games he went off. Some games he didn't even. A couple of games he didn't even score a point. One, I think he scored 0 points one night, 1 point another. You got to have his minutes set evenly, and that's when you get the most. This is a rhythm player. But that's not what happened. But anyway, what I'm saying is this, fam. If you are constructing a team and you're trying to win, when you come into the building, you need to have the ability to pick your own coaching staff, your own players. Now, he went and made trades. He brought you Poole. He brought you Saddiq Bey. Look what Saddiq Bey was doing. Look what Poole was doing when he had some kind of minutes when he was out there. He would struggle here and there, but you have to be consistent with his minutes. That guy wasn't. Saddiq Bey played defense. He was able to get in there and mix it up, and Saddiq Bey excelled. Then they had the injury situation that kind of happened with him. But at the end of the day, you have to have the ability to find players, bring the players in. Then what he did was he made trades during the draft. He got you DQ, got ridiculed for that. Not the same writers that was talking shit about him, not talking shit no more about DQ. So he was right on him. He gonna be right on Fears too. He's gonna be right on Fears too, and he got you PV. Plus, he found some good second players and stuff like that. Like McGowan's was a good pickup for him. Trey Alexander's also another good player. If you get more minutes, you'll like Trey Alexander too. So they picked up some good players. So the reality is Joe Dumars has done as much as he can do coming in. He just got here. The owner just took the rings off of him. And then, of course, you get the interim coach, which means now we're suffering through this season with Borrego, who is basically who Willie Green was coaching through. And the guy is terrible. He's not consistent. He talks offense, but he can't get him to play defense consistently, and it's up and down. By any measure, this not Joe Dumars' coach. Willie Green wasn't a Joe Dumars coach, and James Borrego is not a Joe Dumars coach. It's not. He's gonna get his own damn coach, and that's what we suffering through this thing. So when the trade happened with Jose Alvarado, we knew they were gonna move Jose for picks. We said that. We knew if anybody was going to move, it was going to be him. There'll probably be some more movement in the offseason, but you don't want to move too many players because you don't know who the coach is going to be. What if you get a coach that says, hold on, don't trade Poole. I can work with Poole. I can make him work in this system. I got a spot for him. You see what I'm saying? If you find a coach who knows how to use these players that Borrego doesn't know how to use because he ain't got much of a system. Like we seen tonight, it's a free-flowing offense. They got people that got an offense, a structured offense that they play behind. If option A breaks down, they go to B, or B break down, they go to C. They got people that got a smart option or structured offense and defense as well. And they're credentialed, right? They're credentialed. People have an extended record of success from place to place. Guys sitting on television right now. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Ain't doing shit but talking about the game, ready to come back into the game, that would love to coach up a Derek Queen, or love the Zion Williamson, or Trey Murphy. Who wouldn't want to coach those guys? Who could not coach? If you're a credential coach, you'll get that. If Joe Dumars is allowed to go into the offseason and get his coach, that changes a lot of stuff for us, to be honest with you, because you got a guy that would know what to do with these players. That's my only point. People talking about, there was a fella in the comment section telling me coaching wasn't the issue. How coaching is not the issue when you got a ragged ass coach we just fired, and then we got his guy still here and his entire coaching staff here that can't motivate these players to play consistently every night. What we seen from Minnesota, they could have done that with the last 3 teams. Y'all know that. We know that talent is not an issue with this team. The problem with the Pelicans has always been discipline and coaching. That's something that you teach on high. If we had a structured coach, a respectable coach, a coach that was disciplinarian, he would put pressure on all these guys to be better. He would. And you would get more out of them. So, yeah, absolutely coaching is an issue with him. That's why we got an effing interim coach right now who barely winning. The guy had been here for long enough. We got to win tonight. We could have been doing this stuff. That's why people be getting upset. You don't lose. You don't have a 22-point game of kicking somebody's tail by 22 points in the first half, then have a collapse in the second half and only score 31 points between 2 quarters. You don't do that unless you're a half-ass coach. How does that even work? You know, we up right now, straight. We beating, we running it now. Now we can take our foot off the pedal. We got this, man. Come on, man. This shit ain't hard, fam. This shit ain't hard, cuz. It's not hard. We see it all the time. But I'm saying for us to have sustained success, we got to be able to have the coach that mimic the VP's direction. You got Joe Dumars. You can't take away from his championship, the top 50 player, 2 championships as a player. He get all the respect in the world from the game's greatest player that ever played, and Michael Jordan gives him nothing but respect. Then he won a championship as a executive. He got 3 championships. That's the best exec you ever had. Do I need to remind y'all of the shitty executives we had over the years? Do you really want me to remind you? Because trust me, I can tell you. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, man, you got the right man at the top of the job. I'm telling y'all that. Troy Weaver, I get you on Troy Weaver. I understand that. But I'm telling y'all, on top, that you got the most credentialed executive you ever had. He knows how to win from a player perspective as an executive. And I'm telling you, let him find the coach. Now, the whole nother question is, Q, will they spend money? Let him spend money to get the right coach? Fam, that I will say yes to that. I will say yes, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to say yes to that. Because she wants that damn stadium. She wants that new arena. That's what I'm telling you. This, she thinks in terms of dollars and cents. That's why they're moving the G League team down here. They did all this stuff 5 years ago they had several cities across the South vying for the squadron. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the G League squadron team is leaving Birmingham, right? They're leaving Birmingham, and they sign the city council of Kenner signed an agreement with them. Now, of course, this got to be passed by the G League for the squadron to leave Birmingham and come to Kenner, Louisiana. That's right. Why? Because they don't want to spend that kind of money sending players way out to Birmingham. They don't. And then, of course, the place where they're going to play in is a place that is only going to house about 5,000 seats versus a place they coming from that was like 16,000 seats. That was kind of like a real semi-pro basketball arena. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think it was 17.6 or something, like the Legacy Building in Birmingham seats. That was actually a respectable venue because they spent money getting it ready for the squadron. But it was Birmingham, it was Pensacola, and it was a couple other places that was in the running to get that team. They're moving into Kenner, Louis. I was like, why are they doing that? Because she trying to save money on running the players from back and forth. I'm like, what? But is she all about a dollar, man? That's what I'm saying. Of course, she'll pay a guy $10 million or $12 million if she can get a stadium, a $500 million stadium. If she can get the funding from the state and your approval because the Pelicans are winning to get a brand new stadium built on a lakefront or something around there, or you know what I'm saying, to get that where she wanted, where she can make all that sweet revenue and all that extra money off the building, man, hell yeah, she'll spend. What's $12 million a season for a coach with a credential record when she's trying to get a building that costs almost $1 billion built? She wants a new arena. Now, she'll sign the deal with the current arena, but I'm telling y'all how this go. They're not doing it. They'll spend a couple of million. They'll spend 12, 13 million on a coach a season. If you get me to win so I can get that building, I can get that 6, 7, 800, $900 million building. I'm telling y'all, man, she wants that new building, man. She want the building. Of course she gonna spend that little bit of old money, man. That's pocket change to that lady, man. She just picked up. Did y'all know she just bought another building like what, about 3-4 months ago? See, I don't be telling y'all all that shit. I'm telling you, man, she got all kind of holdings. That ain't nothing for them, man. But I'm telling you, they move their money around to make more money. They understand what the Pelicans got going on. They understand that Joe Dumars is the right one. You got to give them time to get these other guys out of here. Clean slate on these damn coaches. Get respectable coaches. There's a bunch of them out there. And I think they will spend on it because she want that building. See, I know how she thinks. She think of dollars and cents. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, she gonna spend on that coach. What's 12, 13, $14 million a season when she want that arena? She want that big money, man. I'm telling y'all how this go. All right, anyway. Shout out to y'all, man. What's up, Tasha? Shout out to you. Debo said 60 million on 2 players who don't play. That's wasteful. That's another thing. That's what I was saying about it doesn't make any sense. Like for Bryce McGowens, I like Bryce, but I don't think he should be playing over Jordan Poole. That's a waste of money. You can't trade him, but now that you stuck, you ain't gonna say you stuck with him, but you gotta pay. You gotta play the man. It's too much time between now and the end of the season. Plus, you are trying to make a run at a play-in spot. You're gonna need Murray and you're gonna need Poole. You're gonna need these guys' help offensively and defensively if you're serious about making a run. All right, Bird Talk says, "Q, do you think Joe gonna hire?" Yeah, I'm not certain. I know people kind of clown me and said that it's like I said, it's a list. They said Kevin Ollie was on the list, Darvin Ham. He ain't gonna hire none of those people. Cause why? Because none of them people don't have the resume. They don't move the needle. You're not gonna hire a coach that hadn't done anything professionally. That don't make any sense. If you're Joe Dumars, you want to bring a coach to the team. For this team, you know, it's gotta be a splash hire because it has to be a splash hire. And it's not like you have to outbid teams for the guy's services. A lot of teams are not spending that kind of money on these other guys. Like when this current NBA cycle passed, remember, Malone, for instance, was still there. It wasn't like he didn't want to coach. It wasn't that at all. A lot of the teams went with cheaper coaches. They just went with cheaper coaches. A lot of teams went with cheaper coaches. Guys out of Europe They got guys coming out of coaching out of Europe that won championships. Those guys are in the league. Or foreign coaches, they coming in. Or a high profile assistant under a coach that was a really good coach. Those type of moves are being made. Now, we seen the reports saying that he was inquiring about Darvin Ham and all these. Man, listen, they're gonna run searches from high to low. They're gonna run searches from high to low. You're not if you Joe Dumars and you respect the game, and I know there's ties between Joe Dumars and Malone, just to say for instance, that understand and know that these coaches, like even if it's Coach Budenheimer or Malone, those guys want to be in the league again. They want to coach again. They want to be head coaches in the game, and they're waiting for the proper position to open up. I'm telling you, both of those coaches would love to coach here. They would. They would love to coach Zion Williamson. They could see a vision. Or Derek Queen. This team has talent. And they have really good players. Trey Murphy is awesome. Zion, man, can go to another level. He's been playing really good. So we have a lot of good talent. We just need an organizer with a resume that they can respect. That's a disciplinarian, not a guy that thanks them for wins and losses. We don't need that. We need somebody that's gonna make these guys work. That's gonna make them accountable, and that's gonna make them tougher than what they are mentally and every other way. That's what we need. We need a guy with a resume that been to the mountaintop, and that's what you have to get. And that's the last thing the Pelicans haven't done. They've done everything else, fam. Think about it. They've done everything else. They've done everything else but done that. And that is the last thing they're going to do to succeed. So I have to say yes, man, because I know how these people be operating. I say yes, you're going to do that. Yeah, Stephanie. Shout out to Steph. Steph said, yeah, I calls them out, fam. I tell the truth. I have to tell the truth because that's a respect to you. Listen, let me say this, too. I take it, I don't think, listen, fam, don't let people ponder to you. Don't let them, don't let people, kind of ponder to you. You know what I mean? Don't let them, because that's very disrespectful, And I see people doing that. These online cats do that all the time. They kind of ponder they pander to the audience. Please, I'm gonna just be honest with you. I think that's really disrespectful because it's a snatch at it's a mark on your intelligence. Because if you listen to somebody, they're supposed to tell you the 100% truth. They're not supposed to tell you half truth or 75% of the truth. If they really respect you, they respect your intelligence, they respect your spiritual discipline, they'll tell you the truth. Because we know the old saying said the truth is bitter in the mouth but sour in the belly. Y'all heard that before? You got to tell the truth, man. That's how I live. That's how PPR go. That's how the sports coma go. Tough Tiger Talk. Anything I do, that's how my mantra in life has always been taught. You got to give them the real. You got to keep it real with the people. You got to tell them the truth. That's how people respect you. Because a lot of people out here pandering and they're lying to the people to get money out of them, all this bullshit. I'm telling y'all the truth. I tell you the truth about all this stuff because that's the real. History always proves you right. You got to go through and remember that. Do not let them pander to you, man. That's so disrespectful. All right. Anyway, Big Sean says, what if you get a new coach and you don't do much better than you are? Now, that's not going to happen, Sean. That's not going to happen like that didn't happen with you. You know that when people come in, Joe Dumars is not even a part of this culture. You know that. What's the last thing keeping the Pelicans held down to where they are? They have the same people that was here under Willie Green. The same stuff. You hear it in his rhetoric. Like we was the 2 nights ago, the last loss, they run together. The last loss prior to this matchup. You remind me, I forget, fam. I do so many of these damn shows, but that last loss. Remember when I was so upset at that loss because when he came out, and I said, man, this guy ain't nothing but a Spanish Willie Green because the rhetoric was the same. And fam, go back in your memory. Remember when he first took over the job, the first 10 games. Remember how he was breaking down why they were losing the games. Think about what I'm telling y'all. Remember how he was talking about how he was breaking the games down. He was giving you science. He was telling you what happened, what they needed to do. He was in depth. The press conferences was like 5 to 10 minutes long. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? He was literally explaining it, breaking it down like a professor would. And then over time, and the losses kept mounting, then over the last 5 or more games, but exclusively the last 3 to 5 games, you start hearing the press conferences be like a minute, 2 minutes, and him saying the same thing, the same stuff Willie Green would say. He would be out there thinking, what happened to all the elaborate, fancy, professor light ass questions of why you lost the game? All that disappeared and it became, I'm proud of them. Yeah, I'll take that. I take that defense. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of he just kept regurgitating the same stuff that Willie Green was saying after loss, after loss, after loss, after loss. What happened to Professor Borrego? What happened to that guy? The guy who used to break this down, break that down, break that down. What happened to that guy? And I was like, man, this dude ain't nothing but a Spanish Willie Green. And what I meant by that was he's everything Willie Green was, except he's more intelligent in terms of his basketball acumen than Willie Green is. He's a smarter version of it, but he still doesn't have everything it needs to galvanize a team. He's not charismatic enough. Um, Even though he has professor like knowledge of his offense, he's still incomplete on his defensive principles. He's not really a great motivator, right? So he has some positive things, but he's not the type of coach that we need, right? We need a coach with a resume, a guy with command and charisma that players listen to. That's not James Borrego. And then on top of that, he's been here for 3 years as what you would call an offensive coordinator for the Pelicans under Willie Green. And then when Willie was fired, I was like, damn, is that Willie Green? But me and DC was talking. I was like, man. So what it is Borrego was chiding all of Borrego's talking points, which was, you gotta fight all this nonsense. All that was coming from Borrego because if you listen to him, he says the same stuff with a different veneer. But like what I'm saying is, all that professor bullshit went out the window when those losses mounted up. Then he was all about being pride. And I'm like challenging that. How are you proud of a team that keep losing and losing in the worst ways, finding ways to kick themselves in the ass on these losses? How you proud of that, bro? But you don't get them together. You don't get strong with them on the discipline end. You see what I'm saying? That's very concerning. But the bottom line is you got to get rid of these people. His whole coaching staff got to go. You got to clean houses with the coaches, and you got to find the right coach and let him bring his own people in here. Then you can see that shifts the culture and change the culture. And then when that head coach that they hire in the offseason works with the general manager, he can then be about the business of trading whatever player that he wants and being able to coach that player to fit the system that he wants, as opposed to you trading players and then going to get a coach that fit what you're doing. That shit's incredibly hard. That's not how you do that. If you're an exec, you're going to go fire the head coach, and you're going to work together to build the team. That's how that works. Doing all this other trading and moving players around doesn't make any sense. This guy we got here as an interim coach, he'll be fired and his whole staff will be out of here at the end of the year. I'm not trading nobody. I'm going to hold on to my players. I'm going to force you to do the best you can do this year. And as soon as the year over with, your ass is out of here, I'm going to get me a coach, and then we're going to work together on what player stays and which ones go. That's how you do it. That's how you spin this whole thing around. That's what I'm talking about. And that makes common sense like a dog. Y'all know that's the truth. That's the truth. All right. Anyway, yeah, Debo says the Wizards said AD out for the year. Okay. Proud is Willie's philosophy, Slim, exactly. So like I said, man, at the end of the day, I think it'll be a change, man. Because like I said, bro, okay, whether it's Boston or OKC or all this kind of stuff, teams are not lucky, winning games because they're lucky. Success is something you plan for. Success is a product of planning, of good planning, just like failure is the result of non-planning. You see what I'm saying? Luck and fortune kind of follows in there somewhere, but you got to have a plan. And for far too long, we had these crappy coaches, man. No disrespect to Monty Williams. Monty was a decent coach. Byron Scott was a decent coach. Scott Van Gundy was a decent coach. But the you have to have the top and the bottom. You got to have the executive with the credentials. You got to have the coach, and those guys got to work together. And then they create the culture, and we move forward. I was telling you guys about the persona or the astrological chart. You know, the astrological chart in terms of personalities. That's a real thing. I know Troy Weaver used the astrological chart and personality chart to bring players to this team. I know he does because he came from OKC. Remember, Troy Weaver has an affiliation with the OKC Brass. He does. He remember Weaver had a connection to OKC. There are some positives to Troy Weaver. So a lot of these teams that have success, they're using the personality charts and they're putting these players together, not entirely because of that, but that's one of the ways of things they're looking at. Hell, a lot of them are constructing their entire teams using that chart. OKC is a main user of it because their whole organization is structured that way. It's structured that way. I'm telling y'all, so it's different things these people are using outside of just the customary scouting, the analytics, and all that. They're going to full Monty, man, all over the place. And that's why I was saying that certain players leave that they don't fit with what they got going on. Other players they bringing in, and they're gonna watch. Y'all gonna see when they in the process. We're gonna walk it down. I'm gonna let DC break it down too, cause he know about that shit a little bit more than I. But I was looking at it, man. It's a guy on YouTube, man, that covers it, man, that breaks it down. He got a website up, man. And I was looking, I was like, damn, that's crazy because OKC, San Antonio, Boston, they run it even up into the NFL and all these other places. They used it and showing that they're using it as one of the main tools in team building. It's very interesting. Y'all need to look into that. Anyway, shout out to y'all, man. What's up, Crispy? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the building as well. Sean and Natasha, shout out to y'all, man. We appreciate y'all, man, because San Antonio, man, it was at they dropped down. Popovich looked real bad. I seen him walking, man. Popovich, I don't know if he got that you dig or something. Y'all let me know, did Popovich get that you dig, man? Did he get that you dig, man? Because he looked terrible, man. I know he was advocating that for a long time. He was talking a lot of stuff about people who didn't get it. Did he get that? Because he looked real I don't know what's going on with the man, but all I remember is seeing a picture of him recently walking, and then my mind flashed back to him in press conferences talking about it. But y'all let me know. Did he get that you dig? I don't know, man. Sean says, yeah, y'all be better than now regardless because y'all can't get much worse. Now, we're going to be better, man. We're going to be better just like you was terrible. Remember we was kicking y'all teeth in, and then y'all finally y'all had some little shaky deal happen where y'all got Wembanyama. Y'all weren't even supposed to get that pick, but y'all got Wemby. Then y'all ended up with Harper and Foxy. And did y'all have to give up Vassell and none of these people, man? Come on, man. Come on. That's almost as shaky as that deal that what Dallas got when they shipped Luka to the Lakers. And then they mysteriously end up getting the first round pick, which is flag. That shit ain't no real lottery play, boy. That's for entertainment purposes only. We should know because we had some funny business on that Zion pick. I'm keeping it real with you, Playboy. I'm keeping it real with you. All right. What's up, Jordan? Shout out to you, man. TFP, big ups. He said, I'll be at the next game. I guess, LOL, maybe we can get away. Hey, for real. For real. We got the Kings coming up. Now, listen, I ain't going to disrespect the King. Like I said, they're on a 10-game losing streak. They're supposed to get Sabonis back for the Pelicans matchup. We're just going to have to see, fam. But they do have Levine. They do still have DeMar DeRozan. These players do give us some difficulty, right? But record-wise, they're worse than us. But we still going to have to work for it. Be a first game back at home. If the Pelicans can really show us something, because they got some really, the next 5 games, they got some really difficult games coming up. If they can kind of put it together and, put a streak together or something, man, kind of close the gap for that playing spot, man, that could be doing some positive stuff. Yeah. All right. Tasha says, it's cute. I'm not being shady tonight. That's Sean. Okay. No, I ain't calling you out. I know Sean. Sean is representing. We play chess. I hear you play, boy. I hear you play chess. You ain't had nothing to do with that draft stuff You know that. The NBA draft is real. That ain't no real draft, man. I remember they used to remember how they used to do it, where they used to put the numbers in the thing like it was a real draft lottery. They spin the ball and then reach in there. They don't even do that shit no more. They just say, "Yeah, we did it already," and listen, this is what we got. Look at the screen. No, 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 sir. No, we no, because we know how this go. That Cooper, that flag pick that Dallas mysteriously got when they weren't even supposed to be up there, and they ended up trading Luka and getting flagged. Man, come on, man. Come on, bro. I know too much about professional sports and how the shit work for it to get. And Luka out there balling, man. Luka out there, he got LA. I know that the league work where the top money teams, they have like the big markets, they have to be relevant. New York, Los Angeles, and Philly, Miami, Houston, the big markets, when they're relevant and their team's doing well, the league thrives. And even in the smaller market, respected market teams like a San Antonio and even OKC. Now, OKC is a small market team, but their attendance is one of the top teams in the league. They have a high attendance mark. So a lot of people kind of consider them small, but their attendance is all the chain. People support that team because they've been winning. They got strong attendance, right? So yeah, when teams like that, some of the big market teams are thriving, man, you start seeing a lot of that type of stuff happen. But yeah, man, we ain't no fools over here. We know what time it is. All right, anyway, man, let me get ready. What's up, Lex? Shout out to my girl Lex, man, been in the building. We just talking. I'm about to get on up out of here, man. It's after 12 Central my time, man. But big ups to y'all, man. Listen, the Pelicans got a win tonight. We doing good. We all right with the win. The Pelicans improved to what does I reckon now, fam? I ain't no shame about it. It's 14-40. Good Lord. We are 14-40. And how many spots are we out of the plan? I don't even much want to look. But we got work to do. That's the bottom line. That's it. Yeah, the Pelicans are all right. What? We 4-6 the last 10 games. And we are sheesh. You about 9.5. Is that 9.5? And that's like 10.5. It's like 10.5 games. 10.5 games out of the 10 spot. Damn. They gotta get up off their ass, man. They gotta play, man. They gotta get in, they gotta get into it. So we it's crazy work, man. And we talk about they ain't nothing, and they ain't gonna go swim for the fences. They gonna get a cheap coach, man. Y'all keep believing that nonsense if y'all want to, man. All right, Jaden says, "Q, do you think Joe Dumars will hire Pelicans? I think he will hire." Well, I mean, me personally, who I would like him to hire, man, I would like them to get Malone. I would like to get Coach Malone, who used to coach the Sacramento Kings, used to coach the Denver club. Wherever that man went, he had success. And he had got into it with the leadership when he was in Sacramento. They fired him. When he was in Denver, they fired the man unceremoniously and unrighteously. But at the end of the day, that won't happen with Gail Benson, because Gail Benson is not going to get in the way with Malone like that. Joe Dumars and Malone work well together. Like I said, man, at the end of the day, I think it'll all work to perfection. I'm going to be honest with you. I like Malone. He has the resume. He been to the mountaintop. He will command the respect. He will know how to use players like DQ and Eves. He would know how to use those bigs. He would know how to put together his team. He would know how to use Fears. He would know how to use Trey. He would know how to use Zion. This is a coach that will be able to put together a respectable staff. And that in itself will set a fire under the support base and fill up the marinas. It'll fill that arena up, man, because that's the last vestige of what you need to compete. A credible resume coach. And like I said, the Pelicans they're gonna go top and bottom looking for coaches. They're gonna interview different people. I'm not gonna get stuck up on the fact that I heard some rumors saying that something was mentioned about Darvin Ham, or something was mentioned about Kevin Ollie, all this kind of old stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm telling y'all, they're going to look top and bottom. They're going to interview people for the position, and they're going to get a good coach, a real good coach that'll take this team into the future. And that way they can be able to put together something respectable. Yeah, Mark Jackson, bro. I like Mark Jackson. I don't think Mark Jackson's gonna be the guy. I think he's been blackmailed. I mean, not blackmailed, blackballed rather. Yeah, I don't think Mark Jackson is gonna get in. I think he's blackballed, dog. I've been saying that for years, man. It don't make no sense for Stan Van Gundy to catch a job, and Stan Van Gundy didn't coach for years. Stan Van Gundy was talking about the game on television for years, and prior to that, he was a general manager tearing up the Pistons. He hadn't coached for years, and then all of a sudden, he gets a job. Him and his brother was up for NBA coaching jobs, and them guys been on television for years. But Mark Jackson can't. And Mark, if it wasn't for Mark Jackson, that whole Golden State thing wouldn't have happened because he was the one that got Steph Curry right with those ankle injuries that he kept having. He was the one that kind of built that team up before Kerr came in and took him and benefited a lot from. Well, don't get me wrong, Kerr did some positive stuff, but that was Mark Jackson built that foundation. That team was headed in that direction. And a lot of times what got Mark in trouble with Golden State is his religious beliefs. He was a strong religious man, and they had a lot of loose behavior, if you know what I mean, going on with the ownership, and they clashed there religiously. And certain things he wasn't going to play and get down with, so he had to go. And at the end of the day, you can see that nobody trying to bring the man in for a head coach job or nothing, but he's credible. He's a good coach, but I think he's that little stuff happened. Yeah, there you go, Lex. Lex said white ball. There you go. There you go, girl. That's right. Yeah, yeah. I remember that. Yeah. A young couple said Gail likes Christian though. Yeah, I know, but I don't see that happening, bro. I don't see Mark Jackson getting an opportunity to coach for the Pelicans, man. I don't think that happens. That's usually a kind of a wink wink nod thing to all the leadership. They don't do too much without agreeing to it, right? Even with this expansion thing they got coming up with, it was supposed to be Seattle and Las Vegas. That's a loose secret for the new teams that's supposed to be in the expansion model. They're supposed to talk about this at the ownership meetings coming up. But it appears that Las Vegas, if they're going to expand, they're going to expand by one, and that the greedy ownership, the greedy governors, as they're now called, they won't be called owners no more because that sounds funny now. It's now we're governors. We're no longer owners. We're now governors. They don't want they don't want to cut the pot no more. See, they're making so much money that they don't want to split with two other organizations. So the plan is, and this is just some inside baseball, is kind of make them pay a fee to come in. The first couple of years they kick out extra revenue to the rest of the teams, and as they come into the league, you see what I'm saying? But they don't want. That's why a lot of these professional leagues are not growing, because the ownership grew to a point and they don't want they don't want to cut the pot any more than what it is. They so greedy and unrighteous, it's ridiculous. Because we could have leagues that got 50 teams, 60 teams. They don't want to cut the pot. They don't want to split it no more than what it is. So yeah, that's some of the stuff that's going on, man. We'll see how they handle it, man. But that's what I heard. Las Vegas they might grow by one, but the Seattle thing is still on outside looking in. So we'll see, man. We'll see. All right, but anyway, man. Slim says Joe will hire somebody. Yeah, he gonna hire somebody with connections. Yeah. Jedi says LeBron needs to retire. It becomes our head coach. Nah, we good, brother. We good. Man, LeBron to come down here and F up everything, man. What you talking about, brother? Yeah, Lex, I'm with you. Go get him a loan. That's it. That's it. Benny says, Q, at least we are starting to get rid of some of those great human beings. Hey, man, listen, ain't nothing wrong with having great human beings, bro. But it was just too much weak stuff going on. It was weak stuff, fam. The scouting report on the Pelicans, fam, because I'll be doing the research on the scouting reports on these players and on the teams. They got scouting reports on all this stuff, and the word out on the Pelicans is that if you want to get to the Pelicans, you just rough them up. You just put hands on them, get physical with them, and you shake them out of their game. That was the talking point for the Pelicans for years. And years and years and years, that the Pelicans is a mentally weak team. They soft, all this kind of stuff. And they had no direction. And a lot of it was, as hurtful as that sound, it was true. It was true for years, fam. I sit up here and said the same thing about what is this bull crap this man talking about with this wannabe builder. I called it a basketball cult. That's what he was building. It wasn't about him winning and anything. It's trying to protect people that wasn't, living up. They had these fake pictures where they all smiling and the team falling through the floor. The team a laughing stock with these people in the building happy. We're taking like happy pictures. Like we're not gonna let the stress and frustration of no. You need to let the stress touch you a little bit. Let like because at the end of the day, all I know is that we are undefeated. The support base is undefeated, and ain't no exec or any player. I don't care how star-studded they are, comes to the New Orleans city or anybody else's city that got respect for themselves and sit up there and smile in the midst of losing and don't fight to show any kind of resilience and we don't know. You can do that temporarily, but your ass is going to be gone. Ask Dale Demps, ask David Griffin, and ask anybody else that come down here with that bullshit that you're going to be marched up out of here. We're not playing that with you. You're going to do what you're supposed to do. You're going to keep it real. You're going to find the best players. You're going to hold them accountable, or we going to put the fire on you. You will be held accountable. And that's what we've been doing for years. Been doing that for years. And I tell you one thing, that the media, like a lot of times the old world media, will be working with these people. They'll be working with them, getting paid by them. They'll write articles, but they wouldn't be tough articles, right? They didn't have the searing truth behind them to really rip apart some of the stuff that was going on that a lot of people started bringing to the game, such as myself. And I'll tell you one thing, when you start talking like this, it forced them reporters to start mimicking your energy because they'll appear to be complicit with what's going on. You see what I'm saying? So they can't stay too far behind you. If you jump ahead, I'm telling y'all, I've seen this happen with my local media. They wasn't talking like this all them years ago. They wasn't talking like that until I started talking like that. Then they start saying, man, who the hell is that guy? But over time and consistency of my words spreading, the people start feeling it. They started saying, you got to walk closer up there too. They'll be looking like they're complicit with the system. Like they're part of the effery that's going on. And they don't want to call it out. You see? So that's what I'm saying. That's a part of the game. That's how you can kind of change the narrative on things. Because all we want in the end is success. We want to be able to have a successful team that play good basketball that we can enjoy. We're not talking about you winning every night. We just want you to compete. But don't come with this giving these players congratulatory energy even after losses and they lose the game by 20 points, 15 points. They dropping leads in the game, turning the ball over, missing foul shots, can't communicate on defense. Miss me with all that. Yeah, I think I'll take that. No, you get ate up. It didn't work for Willie Green. It won't work for this guy we got now. It won't work, man. I'm telling y'all, it won't work. We don't want that. Yeah. So yeah, we gonna see, man. Lex, look at Lex. She's just typing away. Squallow says LeBron and Clutch are snobs when it comes to small market teams. It's all right, brother. LeBron is just almost done, bro. LeBron is done, man. I think LeBron is done, bro. He done had his little run. I think he was supposed to be having some competing interests in another basketball league or something like that. I heard rumors of that. Some reports mention that, perhaps. He wanted in as an ownership somebody that I think I remember reading that they closed the door in his face, so he wants to start. You better watch out with that one, brother. They play dirty when you start. That's why they ain't got no other competing leagues in the United States going at the NBA. The NBA is a monopoly league, man. Y'all remember what they did Ice Cube? When Ice Cube was trying to put his league on television and the NBA told him that if you put that league on the television, you'll lose contracts from us. They threatened these TV people not to put Ice Cube's Big Three league on TV. And he has 3 people playing. These people got what? How many people? He got a semi-pro league. And Cube wanted to work with the NBA and then they turned on him like that. This is a monopoly system, man. That's why they got one real professional league. You got the little summer league plays when the NFL doesn't play, and then you got the NFL is a monopoly. They control the developmental league, the G League. They control the women's league. They got several leagues across the continents that don't have any, that don't have their name on it, but they own controlling interest in these leagues. They getting people. They got NBA Africa. They got NBA Latin America. They got NBA. They got in Europe, NBA Europe. That's where all these European players is coming from, and African players and South American players that's getting picked. All these people are coming from these leagues that the NBA has money in and controlling interest in. They've created a worldwide professional basketball monopoly system. They control it from top to bottom. They stole the idea from LeVar Ball when he had the league paying college players who didn't want to play, that didn't want to go to college. They had the little rule, and they had the league where you come and play for us. Y'all remember that? They stole his idea and turned the G League into that, to his idea. People just but I'm saying, when you start talking like that, man, you got to watch out, man. You better have your war chest right. That's all I'm saying at the end of the day. All right. Y'all remember that? Now, y'all tell me if I'm not telling the truth. Now, Lex says, did you hear about the conspiracy theory with Kobe? No, I did not. Put it in the chat, Lex. I heard. What conspiracy theories? You talking about with the Black Mamba brand or the Mamba brand? That sort of thing? Is that what you're talking about? All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's just at the end of the day, man, it simply is what it is, man. He better watch himself with that. He better watch out because them people play dirty. All right. Lex says Queen is starting to remind me a little bit of Cat. He's getting away from the comparison to Joe. Really? I don't know about that. I mean, it's still in his first year. I mean, I'm trying to think of a young player his first year in that's doing the type of stuff that Queen is doing, right? In some games he struggled, right? He's struggling but his skill set, and I told people before, I told DC this. I said, DC, listen, I know he can play the 5, but I could see he could play the 4. He got a skill set where he could play the 4. He hit 4 3-pointers tonight. That's showing you that this is not just some big working around the basket. The guy got an overall game, which means he's a problem anywhere on the floor, offensively speaking. Now he can work on his defense a little bit more, and you can see that he has the willing spirit. He's not a slob. He's not lazy. So I can see, but look at what he's doing in the sample size serving of what we're seeing. I mean, he comfortable out there. When he's against some of the best bigs in the NBA, you can look at his demeanor. It doesn't affect him. He ain't starstruck. It's like he's for the challenge. And like I said, some of the games he struggled to get his points on. He have 7 points here, 9 points here, but he's still out there facilitating. He's orchestrating the offense. They don't have a point guard. They took Fears off the floor, and I'm like, hold on. If you gave Fears is a higher pick than Queen, but Fears is supposed to be the point guard. Now I know Fears have a little bit more scoring guard than point guard in him, but you can still train him to be more of a facilitator. He is willing to facilitate. He can be trained or kind of weaned in that direction. You see what I'm saying? He can be formed to be a total complete guard to facilitate, He has that scoring nature, but you can still kind of work with him early on. Man, them people put Fears on the bench, and because he was kind of scoring, he was struggling offensively speaking. They put him on the bench, put Queen. Queen orchestrates the offense, but Herb's not. He throws alleys to Zion, Trey. The offense is basically he's a what you call it, a center point guard, a point center. That's the term, point center. He a point center. They run the offense through Queen. Watch, when he gets the ball, he stands up at the top of the key. You see motion around him. He's looking to make the passes, a bounce passes, a lob pass. He's there. What big as a rookie they were doing that with? It's just like the potential is crazy off the map with Derek Queen. It is just his demeanor. I know he's still got some stuff to work on. I'm not saying he's perfect, fam, but I'm just saying, look at his game and what he brings to the table. So it's just, to me, I'm like, this kid here, man, this kid's something else. It's something else. But he can still work on that stuff, Lex. He can still work on that stuff. Young Illuminati say he needs to get into better shape and play with a motor. Because I agree with you, brother. Good night, Tasha. Shout out to Tasha. No, I agree. Illuminati, you're right. He's still a rookie, bro. Beanie says has to improve defense wise, but he can ball. That's right. I agree with y'all on that. I agree. I agree. I agree with you. I agree with y'all. Yeah, that is facts. That is facts. I'm like I said, I'm Stacy. Shout out to Stacy. Cause he did give this comparison. And I was a big time bro. I used to coming up, it was players that I loved to watch play. I loved to watch Dominique Wilkins play back in the day. I loved it. Was Jordan was I wouldn't known Jordan like that. I liked other, I liked I respected Jordan, but I liked other players. I liked Dominique. I liked who else was there? There was a bunch of really great players that was coming up in the day. Derek Coleman was one of the players that I used to love watching. Derek Coleman because he had an overall game. And he don't get no kind of credit. Like you hear people talk about Rasheed Wallace, you hear him talk about Kevin Garnett, you hear him talking about all these, but you don't hear too many people talking about Derek Coleman. So if you're a person that's really a hoopster and a person that loved the game, and you talk about Derek Coleman, you know your shit because Derek Coleman was one of these players where he handled the ball. He shot 3 pointers. He had a mid range. He battled underneath. He had a complete full game. Now Queen is not as athletic as Derek Coleman, but the skill set for what Coleman was like a 6'10" big. He was like 6'10", guy that had a all around game. And he made the comparison with Queen. I was like, damn. Could you imagine? Could you imagine, man? Could you imagine? In his rookie year, this kid's a rookie doing all of this. He has, and I just think about it like this, fam. The Zion, look at Zion is supposed to be the star of the show, even though Trey is lighting things up. But Zion's the man with the money. He make almost $40 million a season now. Look at the impact, and Zion is having a good impact. But look how the offense is not ran through Zion Williamson, even though he's given the ball at moments, and he turns and wiggles his way in there and makes plays. But look at the difference with Queen. You don't see Zion facilitating for Queen. You see Queen facilitating for Zion. You see Queen facilitating for Trey. You see him setting up other people. You see what I'm saying? It's not the other way around. And I'm like, damn. And his game is more mature overall than Zion. I'm not saying he's better. I'm talking about in terms of overall game. Like he got a mid-range shot. He shoots 3-pointers. You see what I'm saying? He got a multitude of bevy moves around the hoop. So what I'm saying, he has his skill set is more diverse and more mature overall than Zion's is. Zion doesn't have a consistent mid-range shot. He damn sure don't shoot no 3-pointers. So I mean, he used to back in the day, but all that done went away. He just want to get to the paint. But I'm saying Queen got an overall shot. He's comfortable pulling up, shooting them shots, shooting that 3-pointer, shooting them mid-range shots. Even Antonio Daniels talks about it. He's like, that's all day for you. Pulling up 5 feet away from the defender backing off. He pull up and take the shot. Oh, you daring me? I got you. Bam. That to me is impressive. We'll be honest. Glenn Robinson's good too. Glenn Robinson, but that's totally different. Glenn is more like, I don't know if I say more like a 3 than a 4. I guess people will call him a 4, but I kind of see him more. Glenn Robinson, Big Dog Robinson, more as a 3. I don't know. Lex says Spud Webb, Clyde Drexler. I don't know, man. Yo, I don't see Queen as none of them dudes, man. What y'all talking about? I need to let y'all go. Y'all tired, man. Y'all saying crazy stuff. All right, Sean said the fundamental, the slasher, the passion. Tim, Tony, Manu. Yeah, I hear you, Sean, bro. Y'all got championships, bro. I can't take that away from y'all, my dog. Yeah, but okay, these are some of the players that y'all like growing up. Okay, I got you. I'm sorry. I thought y'all was tripping. All right, Spud Webb, yeah, from Atlanta. Doc Rivers and Spud was on the same team with Dominique. Kevin Willis was on that team. Tree Rollins. Glenn Big Dog Robinson. Yep, Glenn Big Dog from Milwaukee. Clyde Drexler. Yeah, Clyde Drexler was the truth. Yeah, him and Terry Porter. Yep, that was cool. Iverson, yep, absolutely. Jason Kidd, Reggie Miller, yep. Kenny Anderson, Rod Strickland was another player that a lot of people talk about them point guards like Kevin Johnson, but but they had back in the day it was point guard crazy. Stoudemire, Damon Stoudemire, Rod Strickland, Kenny Anderson. Boy, it had a bunch of them, fam. LaFonso Ellis. Uh, Danny Manning was good. He was kind of stiff, but he was good. Even Steve Smith, Steve, what's his name from Atlanta? Steve was actually had it. Mookie Blaylock. Y'all forgot Mookie Blaylock. Mookie Blaylock. Tim Hardaway. Who else we got? Point guard crazy, man. Tim Hardaway back in the day. Mookie Blaylock was the man for Atlanta for a while. He was doing this thing. It's a bunch of them, man. There's too many of them to even talk about, man. I remember Muggsy Bogues. He was on that Charlotte team with Larry Johnson and Kenny Gaddison and Lonzo Mourning and all them boys on that. Kendall Gill. Yeah, they had it was that was balling times back in the day. Yeah, Steve Francis. Yep, Steve and what's his running partner? Monte Ellis. No, that was from Monte Ellis was from Denver. Monte Ellis was balling. Cuttino Mobley. Cuttino Mobley was a baller, man. When he had Penny Hardaway and Tracy McGrady, all them type of dudes, man. That's when the league was really special, man. Yeah, Cuttino Mobley. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah. Yep. Weber before the injury. Hakeem. Yeah. These are some of the players. Yeah. He never could stand the Lakers, but had mad respect for Magic and Kobe. Indeed, bro. Randy Livingston was a beast, man. Before he had all those injuries. I remember Randy Livingston. But yeah, that's what some of the players, man. Michael Jeffrey Jordan was the best, man, no doubt about it. But like I said, they all had all players. He done stole rings from a lot of guys. Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, stole them from Barkley. He stole them from Karl Malone and Stockton. He stole rings from a lot of people, man. He stopped a lot of people. He stopped Clyde DeGlide and Porter and Clifford Robinson, all them boys. He stopped Sean Kemp from getting them. He stopped Charles Barkley from getting them. He stopped Stockton and Malone twice. So he kind of caught a couple of people from getting them. Houston got Hakeem them got theirs on the back end. San Antonio snuck in there and got theirs in the late 90s and got their stuff going on. But yeah, he stopped a lot of people. He stopped New York from getting it. He stopped the Knicks from getting it. Patrick Ewing from getting it. Pat Ewing and ran it. Well, Mark Jackson was up there with John Starks and all them boys from New York. Yeah, he stopped them from Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Yeah, Gary Payton, Chris Jackson. Yep. Brandon Roy I remember Brandon Roy from Portland. Great players, man. Solid players. Don't even talk about them boys no more, man. So many of them. Yes, indeed. Y'all got a bunch of them, man. All them guys, man. That was the leagues them years, man. That was the guys. But that's what I'm saying. Coleman, Derek Coleman was amongst those guys. He was like one of them great ones that got lost, and people don't even talk about him. They'll talk about Rasheed and all these other guys, but they'll talk about Derek Coleman, a whole beast. He was a whole beast out there. But anyway, man, listen, I'm going to go on that, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all for hollering at me, man. Y'all hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, man. We talking Pels tonight and a winning effort. Our Pels won, man, tonight. We improved. Let's get this winning streak started, man. We got the Sacramento Kings on Monday, man. And let's see what we get doing. Will Jordan Poole finally get an opportunity to play beyond the trade? What happens with DeJounte Murray? All those questions will be answered in the future, and we'll be here to cover it. Once again, shout out to you guys for being on the stream. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Feel free to share the show on the social media feed, man. I always appreciate y'all, the diehards, man. Much love to the flock. And listen, man, I will return on Monday, and we'll talk about it more. Much love. Peace. Go Pels.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelicans, fly pelican, fly pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly die, I'm a pelican forever. Pelican forever. Ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best, show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumping where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the refs just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly pelican, fly pelican, fly pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly die, I'm a pelican forever, pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly die, I'm a pelican forever. Pelican forever.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thehootitdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thehootdatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation. Stay in the
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below.